Bill 203, which is also my bill, so I'll give you a quick overview of what this bill does. What this bill does is it provides paid sick leave to every private sector employee on Guam at exactly the same rate as government of Guam employees. They will accumulate paid sick leave at the rate of half an hour of paid sick leave for every 10 hours of work. And at the same time, it fixes a little code in Gov Guam sick leave policy and applies it as well to the private sector employees, which says that if a child is sick, a mom can stay home and take care of their kid and still use their paid sick leave to do it. A couple of legislatures ago, they changed the law that said you could only stay home with your child if it was a doctor-certified critical illness. So if he had the flu, you couldn't stay home. And with the current pandemic fear, if you don't have paid sick leave, and if you can't use your sick leave without going to the doctor, you're going to go to work if you got the sniffles or a fever. And if you go to work, then you start spreading the disease to all your coworkers. If you work in a hotel, not only do you spread it to your coworkers, but you spread it to our visitors. If you can't stay at home with your child because he's sick, we have exactly the same issue. It gets to the school and it spreads. Schools, if you do not know, are breeding grounds for pandemics. With lots of little warm bodies like touching each other on a regular basis, it's guaranteed to happen. So this bill was introduced to protect all of Guam's families and make sure that we are a family-friendly island, that everybody gets sick leave and can stay at home with their sick children. So to call up, currently we have written up to testify on this bill, Tim Fidenko and James Lujan. If you could come to the table. Is there anybody else that would like to testify on the bill? If you would, please come forward, even as we speak. Mr. Fidenko, on Bill 203, please.
Sorry.
Paid sick leave. Not a problem.
Yeah, I'm just going to talk about paid sick leave. As a teacher in Guam, for the last week, seeing my nurse with a mask on her face every day, I know it could be just me, but makes me a little more paranoid. As we know, the H1H2 is alive and well on Guam. And
I think that's H1N1. H2
H1N1,
are the
all right,
foreign
sorry,
workers.
that's dead foreign worker one. That's alive and well on Guam too. But bottom line, whether you like it or not, this bill will protect the island. When parents can't stay home to take care of their children, they send them to our schools, where it transfers to 25 other students and a teacher and spreads rapidly. If a parent could stay home and take care of their children, this would for sure stop this spread, or at least slow it down. I don't know if it would stop it completely. But a parent who makes $7.06 an hour folding beds at the hospital can't stay home, or at the hotels can't stay home. So they have no choice but to send their sick kid to our schools. I feel for them. They'd love to stay home, but they can't. This bill will ensure that they can stay home. It's not an abuse of vacation time. It is just to take care of the very minimum, their family and or themselves. We know that a worker who's rested and has a chance to go to the doctor and take care of themselves puts out 10 times more work than someone who is sick. Not to mention, if we spread, this disease spreads rampantly through this island, the Hotel and Restaurant Association, the hotel industries will shut down. People will not come down here. We have to curb this. This is 1 week into the public schools, and I predict that it will be an epidemic by the middle of the year if we don't have a chance for people to stay home and take care of their families. You have to act on this immediately. And I thank you, Senator, for writing this bill, and I wholeheartedly endorse this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Fidenko. Mr. Lujan?
James Lujan. I'm also a public school teacher. At this point right now, our current laws put everybody who has children in a catch-22. between a rock and a hard place. And why do I say that? It's because if we can't stay home to take care of our kids, we have to go to work. If we don't go to work, we get fired. If we leave our kids at home, we get CPS'd. We get in trouble by the law. So we're in a catch-22 somewhere. And if you could go to work and leave your kid home, or you could stay home with your kid without pay, you're in a catch-22 because you only make $7.25 an hour. So you lose the pay. So either which way, we're in trouble. Is it fair? Not. As a school teacher, on Tuesday, opening of school, August 11th, everybody was funneled into our gymnasium. 1,345 kids overloaded Okadu. 1,345 kids, that was the number. The school only fits 1,200. That's what it was built for. We have 1,345 kids. We were stuck in the gym for 2 hours, air conditioned, recirculating air, breathing air for 2 hours, wondering which one of us is going to get sick. With the issue of the TB testing up there, we have quite a number of kids who did not get tested that last time. They're up for retesting. Those who are affected by the TB, who are positive, that's sort of like a lung disease. H1 does something to that. If you're asthmatic, you're seriously in trouble with H1N1. 2 hours in a room so they can explain what are the precautions. While we were sitting there looking at each other saying, we don't have a mask. Who's sick? Right now I'm kind of worried because I'm very cold at this point. Maybe I'm sitting under the air condition. But I haven't been feeling good, so I don't know if that's affecting me. We're all scared. We deal with kids. Unlike sitting in an office, there are 30 or 40 people, but you don't sit next to each other. But every day a student goes to school, he has to deal with that. And the nurse has to deal with it. You go into the nurse's room, there's no supply. They've yet to tell us what we're going to take in case we get the flu. They just tell us to stay home. I'm worried because I have 2 students on my own. One is sick right now, and I don't think she has the H1. But it just worries me. For those people in the private sector who do not have sick leave, they're in trouble. I used to work in the private sector. My wife used to work in the private sector. It was tough. You don't work, you don't get paid. So between putting food on the table, taking care of the children, or having a job, we're in the catch-22. By the humane status, it's only right if we're called Christians on Guam, and I think majority of us, even the non-Christians, believe that this is a basic human right. And if a business, and I know not all businesses are bad, there are a lot of good businesses. There's a lot of good businesses that take care of their employees. But it seems that every issue concerning something like this that comes up, the people themselves that earn the money for that business are tormented when they're denied leave to take care of themselves or to take care of their loved ones. This is only right. This is only humane. Under God's law, this is what we need, this type of bill. That's going to give them that opportunity to take care of themselves and their family. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lujan.